Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. The brother Azariah here with the Pittsburgh GMS camp. I'm gonna let you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and basically, I don't know what I'm gonna title this lesson. I was basically listening to the radio as I was riding up the street, and they said some things that kind of riled me up in the spirit. Like the scriptures say, man, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Okay, and I was heated. Still a little angry, but at the same time, everything right now is the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, so we can't stay heated. But we do hope for the reward of the wicked, man. Okay, we hasten his coming. Okay, we give him not rest until he make us a praise in the earth. Because right now we're not a praise, man. So I'm gonna just start off with some of these precepts, then I'm gonna get into the meat of why I'm doing this lesson. So Zephaniah chapter 2 and 13, we're gonna start to give a little background. Okay, Zephaniah 2 and 13 says, and he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness. All right. And so the land of the north we know to be America, Babylon the Great. Okay. And he's going to destroy Assyria. Now it's being called Assyria, but this is a code name because Esau Edom is also called the Assyrian. Okay. He's called the Assyrian in the scriptures. Okay. All right. And he does the work. He does the whooping stick of the most. He's the whooping stick of the Most High. He does the punishing. Okay, he deals out the punishment on the planet Earth. Okay, I'll just get it. It's a lot. Okay, Isaiah 10 and 5 says, O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger and the staff in their hand is my indignation. Okay, I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey, to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Okay, and this is talking about the Israelites. Okay, talking about the Israelites. All right, the Most High sent. Okay, he sent this evil upon us for our wickedness. Okay, and this has happened in the past over and over again, and it's also happening. Salakia, it's also happening in this day and age. Okay, because primarily the hypocritical nation is the house of Israel, man. Our people are some of the most hypocritical people on the planet Earth. All right, but they learned it from their oppressor. Okay, they learned it from the ways of Esau Edom. Okay, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. Okay, but the ways of the wicked seduceth him. Okay, and Jake, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans have a perfect way of taking on the customs of the other nations and perfecting them. You become perfected in the wickedness that you do. Okay, but you'll never be more wicked than Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, let's continue on. Zephaniah 2 and 14 says, and flocks shall lie down in the midst of her, all the beasts of the nations. Both the cormorant and the bittern shall lodge in the upper lintels of it. Their voice shall sing in the windows. Desolation shall be in the thresholds, for he shall uncover the cedar work. Now, the ancient Assyrians, okay, were what you would call the Babylonians, right? So let's read something about the cormorant, okay? And I know the cormorant is also should be mentioned somewhere else. Isaiah 34. Salaki, let's get it somewhere else. Isaiah 34. 441. Lord willing, Isaiah 34 and 11. Let's see. Ooh. Ooh, that's beautiful. Hey man, this is this is perfect, man. Isaiah 34. Okay. And 1, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Come on, man. This is the side of the Bible that you ain't taught in the Christian church. The grimy side, the man of war side. The scriptures say Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name, okay? And all of the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, speaking of nuclear destruction. And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Okay? People of the Lord's curse to judgment is you Idumeans. The Most High is going to destroy you completely. Okay? After 1,000 years of captivity under the Israelites, under Yahushua, and under the Israelites, man, the elect of Israel, hey man, you're gonna be completely wiped out. Okay? The sword of the Lord, or of Yahweh, is filled with blood, and is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Most High hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Most High's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. All right, and there's a controversy of Zion. You know, let's see. See if I can find it. Apple of my eye. Let's just read this. Zechariah 2:8 says, For thus saith the Most High of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations, which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you, toucheth the apple of his eye. You see? So all you nations that have touched the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you've touched the apple of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh's eye. Okay? The thing that he loves. Okay? His inheritance. His fervent lover is what the nation of Israel is called. Imagine a man jealous after you, or who wants vengeance after you've defiled his wife, or after you've taken and killed his wife. There's no stopping to the vengeance that man will have against you, especially, okay, if she was righteous unto him. You see, he's gonna come after you. Hell hath no fury like a man scorn. Okay, you know, like a man taking vengeance for someone who's done something to his wife, man. Okay, that's a sin unto death, man. How much more the anger of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man, who the word English calls God. He's gonna destroy you. Okay. Let's get to the point, because this is sounding a lot like Zephaniah that I just read, right? Let's hear it. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there. and all her princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons and a court for owls. So let's go back to Zephaniah 2. Okay. And he was in 13, and he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh a desolation and dry like a wilderness, and flocks shall lie down in the midst of her, and all the beasts of the nations, both the cormorant and the bittern shall lodge in the upper lintels of it. Their voice shall sing in the windows. Desolation shall be in their thresholds, for he shall uncover the cedar work. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. How is she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Every one that passes by her shall hiss and wag his hand. Let's get some more. Jeremiah 50. And 8 says, remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the he goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain, because they're going to shoot nuclear missiles on this place. Okay, those laser guided missiles. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahweh. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Okay, they touched the apple of his eye. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Most High, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Okay. All right. So, hey, look, Babylon is clearly, okay, Babylon is clearly speaking, okay, in code, okay, clearly, because ancient Babylon is inhabited. Ancient Babylon does not fit this category, okay? People do not pass by Babylon and hiss at their plagues, okay? Because they're still inhabited. That land is still inhabited by people. But clearly this Babylon will not be inhabited. This is speaking, okay, in code about a different Babylon, all right? See? All right. Isaiah 34, okay? And 14, the wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest. Okay. There shall the great owl make her nest and lay and hatch and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. Okay. Okay. 16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. None of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. And he hath cast a lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. Okay. All right. So this place is going to be inhabited by wild beasts forever, man. The humans are not going to live in this place that it's speaking about. Okay. Zephaniah 2, okay, and 15 again. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly. It said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. How has she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down? Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand. Okay, and get one more precept, because I do want to go into this main topic. Okay, Isaiah, I believe it's 47. Isaiah 47, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Okay. Isaiah 47 and 6. I was wroth or angry with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Okay. Slavery. It didn't care nothing if you was young or old. Okay. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Okay. Verse 8, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwelt carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Okay? But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Okay? So let's just skip now down. Isaiah 47 and 14, behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, there shall not be a coal to warm it, nor a fire to sit before it. Okay? So basically it's about to get real cold. Let's see, what I'm trying to say. It's gonna get physically hot, but as far as being comforted, it's gonna be real cold. Ain't gonna be no coals to warm you. Ain't gonna be nothing to comfort you, man. You know how you sit before a campfire on a cool night and you get that warmth and it's comforting. That ain't coming to Babylon. Ain't nobody gonna be able to comfort nobody here, man. If you ain't the elect, it's gonna get real cold hearted for you, man. A courtesy of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Verse 14, thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. See, it's going to get real cold-hearted, man. They're going to turn their back on you. Ain't going to be no consolation for this place. You're not going to be consoled and held, and it'll be all right. No, ain't nobody going to be able to save you. That's it. That's it, man. Now, let's get to the point. Salaki, it's been a long time coming. So I was riding, listening to the radio, man, and basically it was this lady. She was doing this little interview. It was very interesting, man, and basically it was going into reading. Okay, basically reading, the lack of reading in the country. Okay, the lack of people having the ability to read, primarily so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, not having the ability to read. Okay, and it was just something that was stated in that interview or in that documentary. I don't know what you want to call it. I can't find it. It was just something on the radio, and it just made me fired my spirit up to make a lesson. All right, but there was a guy on there, okay, who seemed to be some type of expert, and he said, okay, there's specific wording. I can't find this. I don't know if anybody can find this. Please post it on the comment board. Baba Kushat, but he said something about there being a restriction against low income or poor families being able to have their children qualified as having a learning disorder or qualified as having a disability because they are poor. They directly relate being poor to not being able to have a certain level of education. And so that limits them from being classified as having a learning disorder. And he even went on to say there were so many people from low income areas that was claiming learning disorders that whoever the agency was said, stop sending people of color or people of this low poverty in these poverty statuses, stop sending them to be considered for learning disability status, or to get classified as having a learning disorder. Stop sending them because they just can't read because they poor, and it made me mad. I'm like, damn, does that really exist? In some type of documentation where there's a restriction on you being able to apply for a disability because you poor, you see? And so I came across this, I'm gonna read the scripture first. Psalms 43:1 says, "Judge me, O power, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man." Okay? You see? "For thou art the power of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto thy holy hill and to thy tabernacles. Then will I go unto the altar of the Most High, unto power my exceeding joy. Yea, upon the harp will I praise thee, O power, my power." Okay. Right. Okay. So, that's why the scriptures say, okay, okay. Salakia. Ezekiel 9:4 says, "And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." Okay, because we're mourning, oh, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and that's all we see, man, is oppression everywhere we go, and it pisses us off, makes you mad. Why do y'all we've been awakened to realize that we need help. A lot of Jake don't even know they need help, or they look for it in the wrong places. Let's read this, man. It says, the title of this is "Identifying Struggling Students." It's from the ncld.org. Okay. It says, "Learning and attention issues affect children from all income levels, but low-income children are more likely to be identified as having SLD." Now, if you are in the know, if you're in this truth, you understand that there's a conspiracy against the children of Israel. Literally, if you want to call it that, there's a conspiracy. Okay. The prefix "con," which means with or thoroughly, appears numerous. So "con" says together. "Con" means together, right? I'm trying to get this word "aspire." Internet's wilding. Oh, come on, man. But "spire," I think, goes into spiritus, or basically it means to think together. Okay, to think together. And the internet's tripping, man. Lord willing, I can get this to load up. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it. I'm gonna try to look it up on the phone real quick. To lock in. Okay, boom. Okay. Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna just type in the word "conspire," see what comes up. To aspire or plan maliciously, agree together to commit a criminal or reprehensible act. From Old French "conspirer," from Latin "conspirare," to agree, unite, or plot. Literally, to breathe together, like Apostle Tahar said. Yep. Respiration, spire, to breathe together. from assimilated form con with together, spirare to breathe, okay, spirit, perhaps on the notion of to agree, to commit a bad act, or perhaps the notion is to blow together. Okay, now why did I say that word conspire? Okay, because the scriptures tell us clearly that there's a plot against us. So when you hear about the discrepancies between low income or colored, so to speak, people not being able to read, well, read this Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O God, because there is a conspiracy. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. Yeah, that's right. They proud. They're in the uproar. Okay. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Okay? Confederate against thee. Okay? Let's see if we can find that word confederate here. Okay? See what the definition is. To unite in a league or an alliance, okay? To unite by a league from a simulated form of con with or together. Okay? A league. So they've gotten together, okay, and they've conspired. Okay, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So you have to understand, when you hear about things like this, okay, this is all by design. People have gotten together. Well, no matter how crazy you think it may seem. See, Jake is perfect at looking at their situation, hearing the facts, and not believing the facts about their situation. You look at the fact that low income people have worse schools, worse condition of learning materials, okay? And it ain't like it's something new, because before that you had worse water. The Negro only schools had worse water, worse this, worse that, and it's still like that today. It's just kind of painted to look a little nicer because segregation laws passed. But there's still a disparagence. There's still a difference between the high income, which due to different redlining and different little situations just so happen to be primarily other races and Edomites, and the low income, which due to those same circumstances primarily just so happen to be so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They still have better schools than you. I know, because I went to some of those schools in those segregated not segregated, but whatever that word is, man. The blended together communities. I went to school with white kids when I was little. Okay, and so I know I've seen the difference. Okay. All right, verse 5. I mean, not verse 5. Starting over with this thing. Okay. Identifying struggling students. NCLD.org. Learning and attention issues affect children. Slovakia from all income levels, but low-income children are more likely to be identified as having SLD. And it just basically gives you a bunch of different little bullshit-ass reasons why they feel like this is so. But poverty increases the risk of low birth weight, exposure to lead, and other risk factors associated with disability. Living in poverty is more likely to have adverse childhood experiences and makes it harder to control emotions. A recent study of special education found that low-income students are much more likely to be identified with a disability if they attended a school in a relatively high-income district and if they attended school in a relatively low-income district, suggesting that low-income students may be over-identified with disability. And basically, it's just like I said, man, they're not really out there to empower the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to do good in society. They don't want you to learn and read. It's not their goals. Okay. Low-income students were identified in very high numbers. This may indicate that the failure to meet the needs of some of these children resides in general education. Assigning disability labels to children who are not disabled runs the risk of lowering expectations and through segregated placements, restricting access to the general education classroom. Okay? All right. Says racial and ethnic disparities persist in SLD, OHI, identification. For example, African American students made up nearly 16% of public schools students nationwide and 20% of students identified with SLD in 2013 and 2014. That year, Asian students made up nearly 5%, but only 1.5% of students with SLD. And you know, there's a bunch more, okay? A bunch more on it, all right? Hispanic and Latino SLD identification rates, okay? So you see the dark blue areas, 70%. California and New Mexico, which is, you know, that's where a lot of reservations and stuff is out there in New Mexico. They got a lot of tribes out there that do certain things, man. You know, my one of my elder family members go out there for powwows and stuff, you know, in Texas, as you know, of course. So there's a large Hispanic population there. And you know, of course, same pretty much. Okay, 60%, 50%. Okay. ADHD, so on and so forth. Okay. Learning disability. But yeah, so I'm gonna just read this. Jeremiah 23:7. Okay, so just to kind of Salakia. There was some more Zephaniah. I forgot. Go here. And I'm gonna wrap it up. Lord willing. Zephaniah 3:1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. Okay, and that's America, Babylon the Great is the oppressing city. Okay. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in the Most High, she drew not near to her power. Okay. Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Okay. And these Edomites don't have any shame when it comes to the bull crap they push out against you or the things they do against you. They hate the Most High. His enemies have lifted up their head. You know, they're proud against the Most High. Jeremiah 23:7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that they shall no more say, the Most High liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Most High liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. See, this is the north country. And the Most High is going to have a great and mighty salvation for the elect of Israel from this land, America, Babylon the Great. Verse 9, mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine hath overcome, because of the Most High and because of the words of his holiness. All right, and these prophets that are keep being referred to are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, false prophets. Okay, these Christian pastors, Pastor Pope Chop, Pastor Do As Thou Wilt, Pastor, sinner's prayer. Okay, because these pork chop eating pastors teach you basically without directly telling you can do whatever you want. They basically tell you can do whatever you want, and they dress it up with, well, make sure you do this and make sure you do that. But for the most part, they tell you the law is done away with, and they feed you pork. Literally, a majority of those damn potluck dinners that they have every third or fourth or whatever Sunday, whenever they have them. They feed you pork, man. They give you pork bologna. It be damn pork, whatever. It be all type of pork, man. Or catfish. They're not trying to adhere to the dietary laws, man. Verse 10. For the land is full of adulterers, for because of swearing the land mourneth. Pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane, yea, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith Yahweh. Okay. But I just thought that was crazy, man. In these different in that radio thing in Salakia, hopefully you can hear me. In that radio thing I saw, man, or that I heard, I just thought it was interesting that they said that, man, that they said simply by being poor, it disqualifies you from saying that you have a learning disability. That should show you that if the numbers is that big, that something ain't right. Which we know, like I said, the elect know. His ways are plain unto the holy, but unto the wicked, okay. Let's get it. Sirach 39 and 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. So the wicked of the house of Israel is not going to understand why this is happening. They're going to stumble at that thing. They're going to do all they can to try to beg their oppressor for something that they ain't never going to get. But those in this truth should be thanking Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, okay? Even all praises are call halayim to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for being awakened and being allowed into this secret club, man, into this truth. All right, so with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. These blessings and salutations to the hopefully elect. Then I'm going to say Shalom.